We were travelling around Australia for 4 to 6 months, and we made Newman our base for me to go off and be Nana. And I did that, and I got as far as Perth with all these text messages saying, "Oh, I've got a job, I've got a job."
First arrived in Newman, walked around with my resume. When Janelle went to the airport to fly out, I walked into the first place I walked into was Regal Transport. They saw that I had a road train licence and a forklift licence. They said, "Great, start Monday." So the first job I did was a triple road train to Meekatharra. Drove past the sign, went with the job with Regal, saw the sign there that said volunteers required, and I thought, well, I'll inquire about that. Went in and saw the paramedic of that day, which was Chris Hopkins, the first of the community paramedics.
This bloke in a hat wandered in. He says, yeah, the wife and I are travelling around, we're going to stop here for a little while. And he seemed like an interesting guy straight up, had a little bit of experience.
He said, yeah, more than welcome, and the rest is history, so I blame him.
I don't think I've come across a volunteer or even a staff member in this organisation who's more widely respected.
As you see him is what you get. He's always bright, bubbly. He has his grumpy side if someone rubs him up the wrong way.
At first, I thought, oh, he's a cranky old bugger. But the reality is, yes, he is a cranky old bugger. But he's true, you know. It's pretty much, Jeff's Jeff. He's very black and white. There's a little bit of grey, but he's very, very professional. I actually enjoy working with him.
I mean, he comes across as like a gruff kind of guy, but marshmallow man. Honestly, call him that, he loves that. Yeah. It's just like there's a gooey little warm centre inside.
The personality, and which everybody loves, obviously. Crazy person, outgoing, just loves life. He's just full of energy.
You know, he's a bit of an Aussie character. He's got lots of stories. He's a larrikin. He is a larrikin. The commitment to the community. This community evolves a lot around volunteering, and otherwise it wouldn't exist.
Anyone that is willing to give up time and commitment and give it to the community is an asset to an organisation.
It's just very community orientated, so it's if something needs doing, you call Jeff. Like if something happens to the ambulance, you call Jeff. Like you don't call the mechanic, you just call Jeff.
Once he says he's going to do something, he sticks to it, and you know, that's the best thing about him. Once he made up his mind, he's doing it. He doesn't let the people down that he says he's going to do things for. He just goes ahead and does it.
He's dedicated and he's loyal, and in the volunteer sense, like, and even in his normal life, nothing's a problem. You know what I mean? If he can assist in any way, he will.
He's well known through St John's, through his teaching of first aid, through his full-time work, from attending the events and he's involved with the speedway as well.
He did dabble trying to have a race, but after one or two, he decided to pull the pin on racing and decided, I'll yell at people from the other side of the fence instead.
Yeah, he's always, he can't shut up, he's always yapping.
When he needs to be serious, he's serious. But I think with this job, if we didn't have humour with it, I think it would be harder to sort of cope with some of the jobs we go to. And I suppose this sub-centre expresses when we get back from a job or have a barbecue or things like that, where it's sort of expressed in that humour or having a laugh sort of scenario.
Where after the job, we'll actually sit here and we'll debrief together and have a chat. Whether it's a laugh, whether it's a pat on the back, whether it's a follow-up call, we have that strong sort of unit here where we're really there for each other. You know, whether it's get off your ass, let's go do something, fun, kind of thing, or just that, are you okay? And he has that.
A lot of aspects of a good volunteer, what St John see as a good volunteer is what Jeff is essentially.
Well, he's always doing something around the place for someone, so he's He's one of them guys you can just call on. Jeff, I need a favour. Can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah, mate, leave it with me. I'll make it happen. That's one thing about him. He never lets you down. If he says he's going to do something or be somewhere, he's there, you know.
Best thing about him, his wife, no.
We've been together 20, however many years, 26 years. Not married all those years, but we've been together a long time. She's my right-hand person, my right-hand mate. You know, great that we fight like cat and dog, but we get on really well.
I take my hat off to her.
She must have a lot of patience. She has to put up with me. All my quaint idiosyncrasies.
Janelle is fabulous. They complement each other very well. He's quite hard, but you know something? She keeps him in line. She really does.
Yeah, it's good having the support. It also gives me someone to talk to if I do go to a bad job or something. You've got someone that's not to say involved as a volunteer or sees that side, just someone, a ear and a shoulder to cry on, so to speak.
She's a good example of the St John's widow. You know, the husband or the wife, the spouse who disappears at 2 a.m, who disappears for a whole day to go and work, you know, do the volunteer work and do a lot of hours.
Janelle thinks he's married to St John's as well, which we all are as volunteers. Yeah, she puts up with a lot. Don't know how she puts up with him, but she does.
Sure, he showed you the old girl, as he calls her, the Land Cruiser he gets up there, which he's really adopted as his own.
He's got this weird love affair with the machinery, like the vehicle. Yeah, he's kind of, if he could marry that, yeah, he would.
I've been here with Bertha, not as long as with my wife, but I've been with Bertha for 7 years now, and I'll just stay with her as well, so it's all good.
He's got pretty much his van, the old full drive, that's his baby.
Bertha is my baby.
It's simple, don't get between him and Bertha.
Typical, I love Australia full stop, and the further you can get out in the bush suits me just fine. Best thing of a city is the road out, so I'm happy in the bush, obviously.
He just loves this country of ours that we have. We have a beautiful country.
Volunteering's probably been a part of my life. It was also a part of my father's life for many years in regards to the Rural Fireys. As I said, I've got life membership for the New South Wales Rural Fire Brigade. My father had it. I suppose it's bred into the blood.
He loves doing it, so I just let him go now. It was a bit hard at the start. I couldn't get my head around it, but now I just let him go and just let him be himself.
I had to do something. I can't just sit back and do nothing. So of course, joined something and I thought, well, I taught first aid over east, and then when I came here I thought, well, I may as well be involved in something, and as I said, blame Chris Hopkins, he was the one that started it all, and I'm still here.
He's good for a sub-centre, like Newman. He's one of the guys there that every time we brought a new person in, he'd grab them, he'd give them the tour, he'd give them Jeff's tour of the sub-centre, what goes on, and more often than not, they didn't want to leave after that, after they got the Jeff introduction to the sub-centre. He's
actually really good at recruiting and retention. He retains a lot of our members, he really does.
I think he has a good foundation for what's good for the sub-centre, what has worked in the past, what hasn't worked, to give that leadership for the other volunteers.
Then there was his training side of things. His as a sub-centre trainer, as a first aid trainer, he had this ability to inspire people when he was training them.
I think he's extremely approachable, and he goes out of his way to make any volunteer, whether they're a new volunteer, a long-standing one, to feel welcome and wanted. You know, he'll go right out of his way to come and help you and show you how to do things. He doesn't think twice.